It was a trip to meet the relatives. They're distant relatives, at least geographically speaking, since orangutans live only on the Southeast Asian islands of Borneo and Sumatra. However, genetically speaking, they're much closer, sharing about 97% of their DNA with humans, slightly less than chimpanzees and gorillas at just over 98%, but much more than dogs, 84%, rats, 69%, and bananas, 50%. And certainly more than some of my human relatives who appear at holiday dinners to discuss religion and politics. These red-headed cousins have some physical similarities as well, which helps explain their name. Orangutan from the Malay word meaning man of the forest. However, these great apes are running out of forest. Logging for timber sales and clear-cutting to build vast palm oil plantations have greatly reduced their habitat. Add in those lost to poaching from the pet trade, and orangutans are an endangered species. To guarantee I would be able to find and photograph orangutans on my trip to Borneo, I started here at one of the rehabilitation centers built to take in apes confiscated from the pet trade, where they are fed and slowly taught how to be self-sufficient as wild animals in the hope that they can be released into a protected rainforest.
So the main idea there is basically to train them to be wild. At the moment they are semi-wild. So the whole idea is to train them to be wild, so once they have reached that level, they will be released back to the forest.
Because when they're young, they're primates. They're like kids.
Yeah, they're like children.
And when they're youngsters, they need hands-on care. And if the parents have been killed, then humans have to fill that role.
Correct, yes. Baby orangutan basically reach maturity after 4 years old. So before 4 years old, they need to be with their mothers. So mothers will teach them how to look for food, how to survive in the wild. So if mothers has been killed by poachers, basically there's no chance for the baby orangutan to survive. So this is where the rescue center comes in, is to train them how to survive in the forest.
Two times a day, orangutans at the rehab center come swinging through the trees, arriving at what resembles a backyard playground with ropes and cables and treehouse platforms. But the main attraction for these primates is not the jungle gym. It's the twice daily snacks served up by the staff. Tourists and their cameras are also an essential part of these gatherings.
This is also help with the funding of maintaining the place. With tourists, opening it up to the tourists, we receive some funding to help the center. It's quite expensive to maintain orangutan, especially medicine-wise, medicine, food-wise, and by helping the center, we are helping the orangutan.
Putting sugarcane and bananas on a feeding platform for orangutans is like putting designer dresses on the sale table at Bloomingdale's. It not only draws a big crowd, but it also starts a free-for-all, where the weaker shoppers have the best items ripped out of their hands, forcing them to settle for leftovers. The weaker ones here being the younger orangs and the macaque monkeys, who show up hoping to steal a few treats. In the wild, orangutans are less social, more solitary. Unlike other great apes, they don't live in big family groups. Seeing them in the wild is more difficult, but I want to try, which explains why I'm headed deeper into the rainforest. A scenic hike? Yes, of course. It's a protected, pristine, 60-million-year-old rainforest. But the important word in that sentence is rain, which means not only is it lush, but it's wet and muddy and hot and humid. So my body is creating an additional weather system as I sweat a river of salt water in my tracks.
Fortunately, a trek through Borneo's Donham Valley Conservation Area is filled with a visual variety of stimuli to take your mind off the muddy trail. Hundreds of species of trees and plants. "300 species of birds. Countless reptile species, including enough venomous ones to keep you ever vigilant. More than 100 species of mammals. And finally, there's a dazzling variety of insects. If you wanted to stock Noah's Ark, the Donham Valley would be a good place to start the boarding process. When hiking in the Donham Valley, there's also one creature probably not listed on your must-see bingo card that you will unavoidably and regretfully encounter. It is the innocuously classified segmented worm, which on first glance looks somewhat like its harmless earthworm cousin, but is instead from a genus whose Greek name translates to blood-sucking. Meet the tiger leech, a parasitic, heat-seeking missile with an uncanny ability to attach itself to warm-blooded creatures. When they bite, leeches inject a kind of anesthetic which numbs the victim to the bite, and they also inject an anticoagulant, so the blood flows freely. In the course of my hike, I removed 15 of these bloodsuckers before losing count. My leech adventure does earn me an official Donham Valley blood donor certificate. I was not nearly as successful at finding orangutans on my forest hike as I was at finding leeches, but I did see some, and was entertained by one young orang in particular, who put on a Cirque du Soleil-style performance, climbing to the top of a tree and using its skinny trunk as a springboard to perform an aerial ballet. Almost like a dance of hope that these great apes still have a chance for survival, even in a world where money makes the rules, and selling off the rainforest is making a few people very rich.